sidelined for at least a couple weeks with a high ankle injury. He injured the ankle while blocking on this run play with under 2 minutes left, and the win pretty much sealed. Why was he in the game? To be discussed. Brian, you think the Saints can stay atop the NFC South if Michael Thomas is sidelined as predicted for several weeks?
You know what, Jenna, this may not be a popular take, but I think it's absolutely true. You know, we know how important Michael Thomas is to that Saints offense. We know what he can bring. We know what he's done over the course of the last couple of years, record-breaking type of numbers. But I think the Saints, out of all the teams in the NFL, are set up to be able to win without this type of receiver, one of the top two receivers in the game. And here's the reason why. You have a Hall of Fame head coach in Sean Payton. His ability to scheme guys open, his ability to make sure that the play design can get guys open, get them in space, is second to none in the NFL. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback, Drew Brees, and of course, he's not the same guy that he was 5 years ago, but he still can find the open receiver. He still can find the way to get the ball down the field, and it may not be as far down the field, but he's still going to get the ball to the guys in space where they need to get him to. Alvin Kamara is one of the best combo backs in the league. His ability to run the football, but more importantly in this situation, when you lose Michael Thomas, now he has the ability and the options to go out there and line up in the receiver position and catch more balls. So I expect his targets to go up. That means Latavius Murray is going to have to play a role in the run game. Of course, you have Emmanuel Sanders, who, in my opinion, in the slot and even outside, is one of the quickest players in the NFL. You can find a way to get him open. And Jared Cook, who had the 5 receptions, 80 yards this past game. I just think that they have an offensive a group with the weapons that can find a way to win in this NFC South, even without Michael Thomas. As talented as he is, they can find a way to win.
I strongly disagree. Any other team, that would be a perfect take, and you're dead on. But not this team. They're not set up like this. And I want to go back to, by the draft. Around the draft time, there was a question asked about the Saints and how awesome they are. And I got it into this back and forth with Coach Payton. And then also you can fast forward to us breaking down this division and who can come out of it, the Saints, the Bucks. And I said something interesting, and I got a lot of pushback. What I said was the Saints will dominate the regular season, but in the postseason, they'll be the same. And people didn't understand what I was saying. What I was saying was this. When you get in the postseason, teams identify your strengths, your weaknesses, and then they exploit them. Their strength and their identity of this entire offense is number 13, is Michael Thomas. You take him out, you're not only losing your number one receiver, you're losing the identity of your team. It's not just plug and play with this team. Because if you brought in Emmanuel Sanders, you mentioned him. If you put him at the X position in Michael Thomas' spot, then who's going to fill the position that they brought him to be? They brought him to be that tag-in guy, to take the top off. This team is built in an interesting way. When everyone's healthy and everyone's there, it works. But if a guy gets nicked up, if a guy goes down, then you're going to start seeing some interesting things. You're going to start seeing people force things, whether it's the play caller, Coach Payton, the quarterback, Drew Brees. Drew Brees, I won't say that he struggled throwing to other receivers, but he's just not comfortable. So this is a huge deal. And this is one of the reasons why I said last week, it's week 1. We need to stop with the overreactions. Because you don't know what's going to happen on any given play, on any given Sunday. This is a huge deal. I do think they'll be competitive, but they have a lot of work to do to try to figure out who's going to be that X receiver, that Michael Thomas, that connection, where you have 2 or 3 options on the single option route, and Drew Brees knows exactly what he's going to do. So you got to really take that into consideration when we really talk about how this is set up the next couple weeks.
Brandon, I think you have a really good point, but I think this is why, and probably more important than what they can do on the offensive side of the ball in this type of situation, this is why they'll continue to be contenders, because they have a very good defense. Marshawn Lattimore, Jack Rabbit on the outside, Malcolm Jenkins in the middle of the field at the safety position. They have a defense that's one of the best defenses they have have had in a very long time. And so offensively, they still put up 34 points last week. Michael Thomas only had 3 catches, but he has an impact in just more than catches. So they have to figure out a way to do that. But you're telling me that a Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best running backs in the league can't figure out a different way to do it? You combine that with one of the best defenses in the league. To me, if you can't figure that out, then you have much more problems than losing one of the best receivers in the game in Michael Thomas.
Yeah, all I know is they're on the road to Las Vegas, and this is a hungry team, a team that put up a bunch of points. So they're going to have to score points to win in Las Vegas. You got Green Bay at home, and then you got the Carolina Panthers who just put up 32, Nick. So you got to score points when you look at the next 4 games.
All right, so here's what I know, and this is something, I don't know if I've ever said it on the show before, because we've got 2 of my all-time favorite players, 2 all-time great players, all pros, and Brian Westbrook and Brandon Marshall have been 2 of the 3 people who had spoken this segment. The other person is Jenna Wolfe, and Jenna Wolfe made the best, most important point of anyone. Why was he in the game? And the answer to that is because Sean Payton is a bit of a jerk. Not a bad thing, but he is. That game was over. The Taysom Hill play ended the game. It was 2:19, no timeouts for Tampa, ball inside the 10. You take 3 knees. Tampa gets the ball back with 20 seconds left. They take a knee themselves. So why was he in the game? Because Sean Payton, more than any other coach in the league, Wilds, likes to run up the score. He wanted to hang a 40-burger on Tampa in week 1 because the win wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So he calls a trick play for Taysom Hill that he thought might get him the touchdown. Oh, it just gets us inside the 10. We're going to keep playing. That is outrageous. Yeah. It is there is no coach's poll at the end of the year to try to get in the BCS National Championship game. There is no margin of victory. This happened in an 11-point game inside the 10, inside of the 2-minute warning when your opponent has no timeouts. It's unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable because football is so brutal, because injuries can happen on any play. And Sean Payton wants some style points. He wanted to hang 40 on Tampa Bay Gronkaneers and Bruce Arians and stick it to them. And now one of their 3 most important players in the entire team, and you guys know this, even when he comes back, high ankle sprain, you're not right for 2 months. At least. This is a lingering problem for him that could set back his whole season. And so Sean Payton, whether they beat the Raiders or not, I honestly don't care. Sean Payton needs to answer for this in the locker room because this was a choice by him, Wilds, he did not have to make.
Okay, so what do you want him to do? When do you want him to? You want him to just take a knee the entire time? I know he was pushing like Kamara trying to get into the end zone and he didn't get it. But guy, I'll throw it to Brandon. Is there a point where you looked at that and be like, he shouldn't be in the game, or you play wire to wire? I always thought it's like, we play wire to wire. It is what it is. You can get hurt on any play. That's not our mentality, or you will get hurt.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be my first time on the show where I could make Nick look stupid by saying something just it was totally from left field. Because when he was talking about, I mean, it was a great take. But when he opened, he was talking about, why is he in the game? Why is he in the game? And you know this, B, because we finished the game. This is not basketball. This isn't like any other sport. We stay out there. Unless we're up by like 30, 40 points, we're out there until like the last seconds of the game. Maybe the last 2 plays, you'll see somebody come spare us at the wide receiver position or at the running back position. But you are right. This comes down to situational football. When you have the game in your hands, you don't go down there and try to score. Nick is 100% right here. You don't, and that's exactly, that is Coach Payton's mentality. That's why he's super successful.